Masters Invitational, and the men finished 7th, while the women came in 12th. Roosevelt High's Ali Chavez led the women's team with a 36 finish in 6K race, and Sanger High's Daniel Galvez was 24th in the men's 8K race. Men's soccer was in San Bernardino for their final non-conference clash against future CCAA conference opponent and number 11 in the nation, Cal State San Bernardino. Despite a pair of second-half goals from Reedley High's Philip Rico and last week's guest, Lucas Iberto, the Birds would fall 3-2. What's next in Sunbirds athletics? Well, they return to polo, taking on American River College just around the corner at Sunnyside High School at 1 p.m. Then it's a home soccer doubleheader at Ramirez Field against Chaminade University, with the women kicking off at 4 p.m. and the men at 6:30. Saturday, country is running at the UC Riverside Invitational, and swim begins their season in Stockton against University of the Pacific. At home on Saturday, volleyball, they look to stay perfect against Jessup University Event Center at 2 o'clock, and then it's soccer at Ramirez Field against Hawaii Pacific, the women at 5:30 and the men at 8. And then on Tuesday, volleyball is back on the road to face Dominican University of California. Check out fpusunbirds.com for more info on all these events and more. We're going to take a break here, and we're going to hear from Kelly Winter. She's here at the studios at 1430 and 790 ESPN. Really excited about this conversation. You're listening to it all on 790 ESPN.
Everyday junk removal in Fresno makes homes, apartments, even eviction and property management cleanouts. They do it all. Got an illegal dump? They'll take care of it. Dumpster? Everyday Junk Removal offers convenient rentals for businesses and homes too. And right now, get $20 off your first service. Whatever the mess, Everyday Junk Removal solves the problem right away. Get your quote today at everydayjunkremoval.com. That's everydayjunkremoval.com.
From the roar of Valley Children's Stadium to the heart of the Red Wave, Fresno State football ignites the Valley, and Precision Civil Engineering is proud to help power that momentum. Named 2024's best engineering firm by Dogs. Visit precisioneng.net today.
Hey everybody, Paul starts here at Clovis Stone.
Are you a business owner struggling to understand how cloud technology can help your business? Are you in need of computer and technology support for your employees? M-Cubed Technologies is your solution for fully managed IT services. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. M-Cubed will be your partner in the digital world, allowing your business to carry on worry-free. We specialize in cloud hosting, Microsoft 365 management, general IT support, and VoIP phone services. Call M-Cubed Technologies today to discuss our partnerships.
At Helena Agri-Enterprises, we're committed to helping you make the best agronomic decisions for your farm. That's why we combine cutting-edge technology with superior product. Helena's agri-intelligence solutions use in-depth analysis to identify potential problems in the field before they take root. Combined with a complete line of high-quality crop production and crop protection inputs, Helena has the tools to help you increase productivity, enhance performance, and maximize your return on investment. Contact your local Helena representative or authorized dealer to create the right plan for your farm with Helena Product Agri-Intelligence Solutions.
The Roger Dunn Fall Demo Days is here, Saturday, September 27th at the Bluff Point Golf Course. This is your chance to be the first one to get your hands on the latest clubs from Callaway, TaylorMade, Titleist, Ping, and more. If you want to take a swing, make an appointment. Just call 559-436-0464. Appointment. This is what we call a game changer. Let the brand new technology help your game. Don't miss it. And remember, you're always number one at Roger Dunn.
And potato wedges. For a limited time, the ultimate fan favorite pair will make all your game days this season even more delicious. And that's not all. While it feels like competitors are continuously making their food smaller and smaller for the same price, the Kentucky Fried Chicken Sandwich remains bigger and better. Guests can get it for just $3.99 for a limited time. You can't beat that, only at KFC.
It's football season, and your headquarters for game day gear is at the Sports Station. Check out their new location next to Women's Macy's inside Fashion Fair Mall. From official NFL jerseys, hats, and For the 49ers, Cowboys, Raiders, and Rams to Fresno State apparel that shows your hometown pride. The sports station has it all. Whether you're cheering on the pros or repping the dogs, get the licensed merchandise you need to look game ready. Gear up now at the sports station next to Women's Macy's inside Fashion Fair Mall.
Now, welcome back to the Sunbirds Sports Show with Paul Meadors on 790 ESPN.
All right, welcome back to the Sunbirds Sports Show. We have a really special guest in studio here, Kelly Winter, who I've known for a while, right? And we have a little bit of a connection through sports as well. But Kelly is an FPU alum, part of the Hall of Fame as well, was a head coach, was a player there. So she is a Sunbird through and through, as well as Central Valley through and through. So Kelly, you know, your husband was on the show a few times last year, and I think you heard him on the show talk about Fresno Pacific and running and all the great events that he's able to coach. But first time on the show, thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so we got to go back to the personal story. So, right, we're you know, I'm a little bit older than you, but our daughters are about the same age, and you know, one of the things about being a parent is you want to get your kids involved in anything that they can, whether it's music or sports or gymnastics, right? Anything like that. And you and I were just sitting at like a music studio, and our daughters were taking piano lessons, 5 years old maybe, and I'm like, you kind of look familiar, and we started up a conversation. And sure enough, here we are today. But remember those days of sitting and listening to all the music / noise going on in there and chopping it up about sports?
Yeah, good times. I definitely miss the kids being young and adorable and in my house all the time. And 2 of them are out of the house now, so definitely miss them.
I do too. Life stages. My 25th wedding anniversary was yesterday. I think
Congrats.
Yours was this year as well.
It's coming up.
It's coming up. Yeah, just different life stages. Kids getting out of the house and going to college, and I think you have one at home still. But
Yep.
Gosh, isn't life just precious? And you know, we think about the great memories, and then right, you think about athletics, and right, it's just life stages are just different, aren't they?
Yeah, they absolutely are, and I have loved every stage. It's all so much fun. There's so much. I mean, college is such a great time of life, and you know, early married and, you know, setting up house and new career, that's also a ton of fun. But kids are an absolute blast, and all the stages of, you know, raising kids is super fun. Kids now, I definitely miss them more. But
right?
Yeah, life's great. It's really enjoyable.
Awesome. So you're an assistant coach at Fresno Pacific right now in volleyball. Did you guys have practice today, or what was going on today at practice?
Practice today, working on, you know, trying to get faster, quicker, stronger, better. You know, we don't want to, you know, settle with we're a good team. We feel like we can be a great team, and in order to be a great team, we just got to keep getting better.
You guys are 8-0 right now on the season. The team went to Hawaii, but you didn't go. You've had plenty of trips to Hawaii, but you're teaching at Reedley College too, right? You're a math professor there. So tell me about how you're able to juggle that, the driving, right? Because I've been driving for 9 years on 99, but the driving and bouncing, all that, what does that look like for you?
You know, I really enjoy, you know, teaching math. It's something I know a lot of people kind of go, math, okay? But it's just been a passion of mine forever, and as long as I can remember. And Reedley is such a great community. I love the community there. I love the people I work with, and I love the students. And so I have a great time teaching there. My schedule is, you know, somewhat flexible. It changes every semester, which is kind of nice, keeps it interesting. A lot of podcasts, and I always want to learn something new while I'm driving. And yeah, so it's, you know, Kelsey's been really flexible with me. And, you know, if I show up an hour into practice, I show up an hour into practice, right? It is what it is. And I do my best to be at everything I can. And obviously I didn't go to Hawaii. I'm hoping to go on the next Hawaii trip in the conference championship at the end of the season. But yeah, Reedley is a great place. I love teaching there.
Driving on Manning Avenue,
yeah.
Right? You know, all the stoplights, you try to time it perfectly, right?
I actually go Reed.
Oh, you do go Reed?
I go.
Okay, so you kind of go the back way.
Yeah, I enjoy driving through the vineyards and the orchards.
You do. All right, really quick before we talk about the volleyball season, what classes do you even teach? Are they like introductory to? I mean, help me out here. Like how
calculus,
difficult?
statistics, and then also like a contemporary mathematics. So just a little bit of everything.
What is contemporary mathematics entail?
So contemporary math is a little bit more of a variety of mathematics that you would see sort of in everyday life. We do a little bit of finance, a little bit of statistics, a little bit of probability. We do a little bit of like voting theory, and so there's a lot of like it's more of an introductory class that kind of a general ed.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So let's talk volleyball again. 8-0 on this season. You guys just coming off of that sweep in Hawaii. You guys have won games 24-4, if my calculations are correct, this season. Pretty remarkable start. What's been the secret of success? Has it been a team that, like, man, this is a team that we've been grinding for? I know Kelsey, second year?
Yes.
Second year for Kelsey as the head coach, but, like, do you guys know you're going to have a strong start to the season, or what was kind of the preconceived notions about this year's team?
Yeah, we definitely came into the season knowing we have a lot of the pieces to the puzzle that could be really successful, and so it's just a matter of like keeping everybody on, with the same goals in mind and continuing to get better because, the pieces are there, but can you pull it together, right? I've been coaching long enough to know, like, the pieces don't necessarily, always come together. And I feel like right now the culture of the team is incredible, and just the personalities and the commitment to excellence and the commitment to each other has been just something that is heartwarming as a coach to observe, but something that has also really helped us continue to get better, but it's also what's going to make us really special. And I think as long as we, keep working in that direction in terms of like, wanting to serve each other, wanting to get better, and not really trying to compete for our own glory or for individual glory, but really just, for each other and for the glory of God. I think those are the things that are going to make this team really special. And they really just have a commitment to getting better. And, they're constantly coming in early, watching film, doing what they need to do in order to be successful. So we still have a lot of work to do. This is a really tough conference. The Pac West is just so strong. The CCA is strong. The region is strong. And, the GNAC is showing to be like a really tough this season. So even, we have our sights set on some big stuff, but it's always one match at a time, one game at a time, one practice at a time. We know we've got a lot of work to do in order to get there, but we're on the right track.
Absolutely. If you were to describe the culture of the team right now, or maybe even the personality, it seems like the culture is really set. But personality, fun-loving, hard workers, a mix of two, how would you describe the personality?
Yeah, I would say both of those for sure. They really do like to have fun. We laugh a lot, but they're also really competitive, and they really, really want to win. And so sometimes, the winning part, if we focus too much on the winning, then we lose sight of like, the progress that we need to make and getting better. And so just kind of keeping things, focused on getting better and improvement is kind of what we're working on. But absolutely, this is such a fun-loving team. They are really goofy. I really enjoy being around them. It's like my best part of my day. And and I just think the commitment to success, the commitment to each other is something that's really, really special.
What is the biggest difference in your mind coaching high school then to college students, right? Like some of the principles obviously are the same, but right, you have older students that are on their own. You probably have some international students, right? Like what are some of the coaching differences between high school and college?
Well, I think a lot of it's the same. The way that I approach every team is going to be pretty similar, is finding the strengths and personalities of the athletes and helping them to achieve, greatness and become the best version of themselves. And I think that's going to be the same at any level. Obviously, there's going to be maybe a commitment level, a competitiveness level. Some athletes are able to, completely commit extra time and focus and physicality. Like the physicality of this team is definitely superior to like a high school team. And so when we ask them to make these little changes or tweaks or like do it this way, they can do it pretty quickly. And sometimes at the lower levels or at the high school level, or even, you know, I was coaching junior high, and, you know, you'll ask them to make a change and they're like, my body doesn't do that. So yeah, sometimes it's a commitment because, you know, when they're at the college level, we're asking them to have a little bit more sacrificial effort at, you know, for a college program. That's something that they've signed up for, that they want. And so that's going to be a little bit different than high school, where there's maybe a blend of, you know, athletes that are headed towards college or just wanting a high school experience and enjoy themselves. So.
What are some, now you got me curious, what are some specific examples when you talk about the physicality differences? Are you talking about more like throwing up 2 blocks, or having, you know, whatever, you know, 75, I don't know, help me out here, 75-mile-an-hour serve coming at you, like what are some?
About 75.
I don't know, that's why I just threw out that number, help me out, but just.
Yeah, the ball's moving faster, jumping higher, just the ability to also process the game, you know, and so there's times that I'm like, okay, we're going to be moving, you know, this is how we're going to defend, this is their offense, because, you know, they're going to do a double block, they're in a pinch, so we're going to run our middles here or go here, we're going to trap them here, you know, so there's a little bit more of an intellectual level that our, you know, collegiate athletes are able to sort of process. Maybe we keep it a little bit simpler when they haven't had quite the experience. But I've worked with some high school athletes that are absolutely superior and, you know, that are playing at a high level now. And so, and they're able to, so it's just, you know, there's a variety. Definitely depends on where you're at. But yeah, I mean, I remember my dad helped me coach a little bit, and, you know, he was always a golf coach. And there was a few times he was like, yeah, the game is a lot more complicated than I, you know, anticipated when he started working with me and coaching. And so, yeah, there's a lot to it. It's a lot of fun. A lot of moving parts. A
lot more than bump set spike,
that's
right?
Sure. Yeah.
That people most think of when they're thinking of volleyball.
Yeah.
You have a pretty good setter this year. I mentioned Michaela, and you were a setter too. Like, how important is a setter in every volley, right? Every possession, and what does Michaela bring to the table?
You know, I think the skill that she brings, that I mean, and we have a couple of setters. Cam is also an incredible setter for us, but she is also brings a lot to the offense, and so she's been kind of carrying a different load this year. She is as a hitter, but Michaela brings a leadership that is somebody that everybody wants to follow, right? And she leads by example. She's the first one in there. She puts in a ton of extra time. She's super encouraging, very positive, wants to win more than anybody out there. Except for maybe Cam. But, yeah, just her leadership skills are incredible. And her ability to vocalize, you know, what, you know, she thinks the team needs and how she can help contribute to that, I think has been super valuable for us. I mean, she's got great hands, and she's got, you know, a high-level IQ in terms of what is needed. She's had a few years out of volleyball, and so and she's been coaching that entire time, so there's a lot that you can learn from coaching that you don't necessarily learn as an athlete. And so I think that has contributed to, like, just her volleyball IQ as well, and just kind of also knowing, like, what leadership skills are needed in order to help the team, you know, achieve more. And so it's been an absolute blast to work with Michaela and Cam both in the setting. They're both doing an incredible job. I love working with them. They are hungry to get better and to help their team and help serve their team as much as possible. Super valuable to have, you know, somebody that is just, you know, like, what can I do? How can I get better? What can I do to set this so that you are more successful? Really, that's the job of a setter, is to put our headers in the best position possible to help them be successful, and that's exactly what they want to do.
And they're doing it. They're doing it. Like, I'm curious, is there, or you think of a quarterback in football, you think maybe the catcher in baseball. Is that like a good comparison to
For
a
sure.
setter in volleyball? Like, they got to be the vocal leader. Right? They're the team leader. If they don't put the ball in the right spot, right? You guys aren't going to be looking good.
Well, they're calling
the
the plays too,
Okay.
and so, you know, we always have 3-4 hitters on the court, and so trying to figure out who to set, where to set, when to set, and then looking at the other side of the net and going, what does the block look like? Who do we want to avoid? Where do we want to, what's our best matchup? Where's the hole? There's always a ton. So that's why I'm saying the volleyball IQ has to be there for a setter. And it's been super fun to work with Michaela this year.
And you know what you're talking about with setting, because you were a former setter on that same court as well. In all your years coaching at Fresno Pacific, coaching at the college level, what are some success stories or kids that you've watched that maybe came in just like the lights were a little too bright and you helped guide them along, maybe even academically? Does anybody pop in your mind, or can you share a story of somebody that you watched grow through coaching?
I think one of the things that I really enjoy about coaching is just helping them through difficult times. College can be a time where you're in a different place without, the immediate, physical support of family that you haven't had before. And so just being able to be a listening ear, be somebody to say, hey, you got this, I believe in you, is something that I really enjoy. It's something I really love. But, there's several, what I actually really enjoy seeing the girls that have come from our program from Fresno Pacific and are coaching in our community now. And we have so many coaches in our community that have done some great things for the community, and so I just really appreciate those, because it is a sacrifice to coach. It's not all glory.
And not a lot of money.
Not a lot of money. And a lot of times it's a sacrifice and it's a lot of time, but they also love the program, love the sport, love their experience, and want to give back to the community. And so I can think of a lot of those. And I also think of several athletes that are playing professionally or overseas that are still enjoying their experience, had a great time at Fresno Pacific, really built their confidence, and was just enabled them to continue playing, and so that's fun to also continue watching those athletes as well. So.
Talking with Kelly Winter, an alum of Fresno Pacific University, a head coach for a while, and now has returned as an assistant coach. We've got a couple more minutes, and then we'll hit the break. We're going to get to beach volleyball in a second. Excited to ask you about that. But do you have a wild travel story? So you've been to Hawaii a few times, right? Mm-hmm. And you said you actually really liked the trip. I know some coaches are like, oh my gosh, I hate that trip to Hawaii because it's so long and you got to worry about this and worry about that, and you got to worry about the game that you're playing. So your experiences have been good in Hawaii, but do you have a wild, maybe even horror story about traveling to a game?
Horror story. Well, there's lots of bus broken down stories, right? I think everybody has those stories. I actually have a funny Hawaii story. One of our first trip out to Hawaii, there were actually 4 schools in the Pac West, because BYU Hawaii was still at sports. And for the first time, we went out there and we swept every team. And so we went 4-0. That was pretty incredible. First time ever for Fresno Pacific. And so we rented paddle boards for the whole team, and we went out on the ocean, Waikiki Beach, and we're just exhausted. So everybody's just basically laying on the board, so we're not really doing any sort of paddling. And the current just took us into these waves, and these Hawaiians came over and were like, this is not an area where you should be. You guys are going to get yourself killed. And so they helped us kind of get out of a really tough situation, so that was kind of fun. But if you were going to give me a travel horror story, it would be when we took the team to Europe. And we, on the way home from Europe, there was a delay. We had to, I think we're in Philadelphia, where we first had to go through customs. And so we had to, get off the plane, go out of security, go through customs, get our bags, and get back on a new plane. And we were delayed on the first flight. And so we had several different groups, because we had international athletes that had to go through a different customs. Okay. And then we split up into 2 different groups. So we had 3 different groups going through lines and trying to get through customs. And we ended up split, and half the group was running to get on the plane, made the plane, and then the other half didn't. And so we got on the plane, and we're trying to tell, our flight attendants, to, hold the plane, they're coming. They wouldn't hold the plane. So we got split up. And so we landed in L.A., and at 1 in the morning, and half our team was not there. And so... And
you had to wait, and you had to make some phone calls?
No, we actually ended up renting cars and drove home. We were in L.A., and we were 4 hours away, so we're let's just get home. So I had a 4-month-old baby, and I was let's just... We've been gone for weeks. I need to get home, so... Yeah, it was great.
And every coach has a story like that, right? But you're in Europe and you're split up. Did you at least have one of your assistants? Was that when you were a head coach?
No,
you were an assistant.
I was an assistant, and we had coaches on both ends of it, so we were fine. It was totally fine, but it definitely created a little bit of tension on the team for a couple days of we were exhausted, but we were also gearing up for the season, so a little bit of tension there, but we worked it out.
Beach volleyball,
yep.
Right? It is really taking off. I know some of our local high schools are into it. There's a lot of colleges, especially on the West Coast, that are into it. Fresno Pacific has a vision.
Yep.
Talk about that vision for Fresno Pacific and beach volleyball.
Yeah, we've been talking about adding it for a few years. We are super excited. Colleges are, since I was a head coach, and that was a while ago, we wanted to add it back then, and it just takes time. COVID hit, we got a little setback, but we're looking to add it in the spring of 2027, and we've already kind of laid the foundation out by the track to add some courts out there, and we've got a great community of beach volleyball players here in the Valley that we know we can build a great program with, so we're super excited about that.
Kelly Winter, head coach. Is that what we're looking at? Or
no,
I even
Kelsey. She's got this. I will be there to help.
Oh, got it.
Kelsey's a great beach coach.
Okay.
She's done both, as a head coach at Cabrillo, and she's definitely excited to lead that. So. Okay,
there you go.
I'm gonna keep my day job.
Keep your day job. That's right. Teaching stats and crazy mathematics stuff at Reedley College. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to hear more from Kelly. Growing up in a sports-minded family, growing up on the Sunbirds Sports Show on 790 ESPN.
Big Fresno Bear. All new full-throttle grandstand. October 3rd and 4th, 2 days of heart-pounding rodeo events, bull and bronc riding, barrel racing, and more. October 10th, the dirt flies with Arena Cross. Then October 12th, 2 explosive monster truck shows. Presented by Table Mountain Casino Resort, Coors Light, and Coors Banquet. Banquet. Buy tickets at FresnoFair.com. Fresno Fair.
Youth League starts October 28th. Available for boys and girls K through 6th grade. With such great facilities, be sure to take advantage of them by signing up for gym rentals and now birthday party rentals. Valley Athletics, developing the athlete in everyone.
The Roger Dunn Fall Demo Days is here. Saturday, September 27th at the Bluff Point Golf Course. This is your chance to be the first one to get your hands on the latest clubs from Callaway, TaylorMade, Titleist, Bing, and more. If you want to take a swing, you got to make it a minute. Just call 559-436-0464 to set up an appointment. This is what we call a game changer. Let the brand new technology help your game. Don't miss it. And remember, you're
with complete dining room and bedroom sets, tables, entertainment centers, the list of Amish home furnishings is endless. It's beautiful and up to half off selected floor samples. It's Amish Days USA, the combined collection of 24 Amish builders and 20,000 square feet of designs from Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Indiana. It really is something to see. It's Amish Days USA, with savings up to 50% on floor samples, 0% financing, and 48-hour delivery from fashions
in 15 minutes or less. Always accepting new patients. And enjoy free delivery to your home or workplace in Fresno and Clovis. We accept all major insurance, including Medi-Cal, Blue Cross, and Optum RX. For our Clovis location, please call 559-324-1808 or visit grizzlypharmacy.com for more.
For big dreamers and a family-friendly bank for the next generation of owners. From first ideas to major milestones, we're here to help you chase your goals and score big. So what can FFB mean for your business? Find out at ffb.bank. That's ffb.bank. FFB Bank. Let's win together.
Show. We are actually streaming this live on YouTube and Facebook. So we're super pumped about that. You could go back and watch the video along with the audio of the show. But we're talking with Kelly Winter. She is the current assistant volleyball coach at Fresno Pacific University, part of their Hall of Fame, All-American. We're going to get into a little bit about her career. Personally, Dad Mike was a longtime coach at Fresno State, golf coach. Sister Heidi at Fresno State, golf coach. Sister Heidi is involved in MLB Network and Red Sox for a bunch of years into the sportscasting, sports world. Like,
A few people that, will pause the TV and, yell, "You've got to get in here and see this putt," like how many people get super excited about, a golf shot, definitely in our family we do. So yeah, I spent a lot of time just in the sports, but also my brother was a ball boy at the basketball games. Like, we went to everything. We had so much fun. At the basketball games, we went to everything. We had so much fun. A lot of time, just being a bulldog.
What are like your first memories though? Right? I mean, Dad was a golf coach. Did he put a golf club in your crib? Hoping that you would grip it right away, or like not at all, right? So what did that look like for you?
No, I think my parents did a really good job of just kind of supporting whatever we really wanted to do, and they kind of supporting whatever we really wanted to do, and they didn't really push us to do. Anything, but anything that we were interested in, they would absolutely support, and so. And I've always enjoyed the sport of golf, but haven't really put any time into it. So.
But was golf on TV like 24/7, or is it other football as well? What did that look like?
All of them. I mean,
Everything.
definitely football, definitely golf. Golf is on time, so it's taken over the family for sure. In fact, my brother was a very successful golfer. My cousin still is. My nephews are incredible. One of my nephews is playing at Fresno State right now, and he's doing a great job there. And my younger nephew, Jacob, he's crushing it right now in high school. So
Buchanan?
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, so like, when did you first fall in love with volleyball? You mentioned it, right?
Would say are just probably some of the reason that I kept playing and continued to play, and why I ended up at Fresno Pacific is I just absolutely loved working with them. They were so maybe my coordination just kind of lined up perfectly for volleyball, and maybe not for other sports, but yeah.
Did it become easy for you? Did it just click? Did it make sense, right? 6 on a court, setting.
Over here, it's fun to hit a little bit, but yeah, got to experience some different things for the first time because I always was a setter.
Did you do the old Fort Washington to Kasner to Clovis West? What did that look like for you?
No, it was a little bit of a hodgepodge before the Valley Oak opened up, and I opened up that school. That's how young I am. But my 5th and 6th grade year was Valley Oak, and then Kasner, and then
Clovis West.
Yeah, and I was in that kind of year where Buchanan opened up, so a lot of my teammates from Kasner split and were at Buchanan. So
2001, right? 2001 grad? No, sorry, 97.
2001 grad from FPU.
Yeah, there you go.
97 from Clovis West.
All right. I'm trying to put all these days together. Yeah. All right, there you go. All right, so experience at Clovis West, then led you to Fresno Pacific. Were there any other opportunities for you? Why did you eventually choose Fresno Pacific?
Yeah, I had a few opportunities and was recruited a few places. I was always a little bit of a homebody, and I really wanted to play in front of my friends and family. And so I think the experience of having my parents and my family at all my games was pretty awesome, and they travel with us too. I mean, we went to Kankakee, Illinois, and Florida, and my parents were always there. My grandparents got to watch me play anytime I went down to San Diego and competed at Point Loma, and they'd come up to probably not Westmont, but Azusa, Biola, you know, some of the LA games. And so just being a little bit more local and, you know, playing was a little bit more meaningful for me, you know, here in Fresno. And mostly I came to Fresno Pacific because my friends did. And I had, you know, my club friends were, you know, incredible. I had such a great experience. And they actually committed to the school first, and I was like, oh, I want to go too. So I had other opportunities, but I definitely also, you know, back in the NAIA days, you know, we could go and practice with the team without, you know, having to fill out paperwork and get a sickle cell test and all that kind of stuff. And so I'd go practice with the team, and it just felt right. So.
Did you have a big, you know, I know you've mentored a lot of students at Fresno Pacific University, but did you personally have like a coming to Jesus moment, maybe athletically, you know, on the court, or maybe even in a class, like, you know, a point where like, man, this is maybe even a little bit tougher than I thought? Is there something you really had to grind through that you can point to specifically?
I think there's a few memories that sort of stick with you, like losing a national championship. That one sticks with you for a long time. In fact, I remember a lot of sleepless nights losing that game. I actually missed my serve on set point, and back in the day we were only playing to 15. We were up 14-13 in the second set. We had already won the first set, and I missed my serve, and then, you know, Columbia, back in the day, came back and rattled off the next 3 points, and now we're tied 1-1, and we ended up losing that match. And I feel like that missed serve was sort of critical, because you had to serve in order to get the point back. And then so that one stuck with me for a long time, and I was a really competitive person, and so, you know, tons of like sleepless nights. What could I have done differently? It definitely, you know, drove me to improve. And I will say, when we did win a national championship as an assistant coach, not as a player or a head coach, but as an assistant, I remember, you know, getting to the hotel after the win, and it was a great celebration, and I just remember thinking, is that it? And, you know, the win was not as, you know, momentous as the loss, and it didn't consume me like the loss did. And so it really helped me give a little bit of perspective on athletics and my drive to win or lose, or what is athletics for. And so it really helped shape, you know, who I wanted to be as a coach, you know, what winning and losing really meant, and really what my purpose was. And so, yeah, the win was not as momentous and not as exciting as I had expected. They are not balanced.
Is that, I mean, you mentioned it, it's part of your competitive spirit, right?
Yes.
Like as a player, you remember that, but, you know, when you reach it as a coach, you're like, oh, I guess, are we going to roll this back? Like, are we going to do it again? Is that kind of what you were thinking?
Yeah,
or?
It was like, what was next? And, you know, when you're locked in, you're dialed in on like, okay, who do we have to beat next? And we're watching film and we're breaking it down. We're trying to figure out their weakness and our strength and how we can match up better and how we can get that point. And, you know, we finally win, and it's like, okay, what's next? And there was nothing next.
Yeah.
And it was like, sort of felt like an empty hole. And so, yeah, it just, it felt empty.
It gives you perspective, right?
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, as a coach, right?
Yeah.
The strive to get better and always need to improve, but yet, like, did you figure out, like, maybe even at that point, it's more about the journey and what you learn from different experiences? Like, what was like your, like, the main takeaway from those experiences?
Absolutely. It definitely wasn't the destination, right? Because we got there and it was like, okay. So it definitely made, you know, helped me sort of define who I wanted to be as a coach and what mattered more, and, you know, how we carried ourselves and how we treated each other throughout the season was more important and more valuable, but it was also like becoming the best version of ourselves and helping our athletes and helping each other become the best version. And that carries into life, you know, beyond athletics. And that's what I love about athletics, is that all of the things you learn with discipline and commitment and togetherness are things that you can carry through life.
How's the campus changed from your time as a player to now? Like, even me, right, walking on the campus, a lot of things are the same, right, but a lot of things are different as well. Even when you walk into the gym, I know there's been some really cool improvements to the special events center, but like, is that kind of a thing for you? Like, you know, you think about it back when you were a student athlete. I think about the food. Like, our food options when I was there in the early 90s were horrible. Now I see the options that they have today. I'm like, gosh, you guys are certainly blessed here. But like, what pops in your mind?
I was going to say the food.
The food.
For
Yeah,
sure.
it's a good deal.
The CAF's a whole lot better. It's pretty awesome. I would definitely eat there every day. And before it was, a different location where the CAF was and different, limited options. You just kind of ate whatever was there.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't quite have the same options that we have now. Plus, there's more buildings, but, I actually lived in, Jost Hall, used to be called East Hall back then. So that was there. I know that's been kind of the biggest change. And I did play under Fresno Pacific University.
There you go.
College.
Thank you.
So
okay.
I've always been an FU fan.
Not FPC.
Not
right?
FPC.
I'm FPC, yeah.
So, but I think what's hasn't changed is, the community is still just, the instructors absolutely love to support our athletes, and they get to know you as a person. I think one of my, favorite things about Fresno Pacific were just the connections that I made. Will Reimer was an incredible professor. Ted Nickel drove our bus, and he's our PhD in psychology, an incredible instructor and professor, and he would drive our bus. And so we would trade off sitting next to him on the front seat, talking to him, and just gaining wisdom from him. And he would always kind of have great conversation with us, and I really miss that as something that was, absolutely something that I treasure, and just so many others that I could name. But I love the community there. It's just a great community.
Here. I got to mention this. In your bio, you were a track and field athlete as well. The heptathlon was a thing that you ended up doing. You did pretty well in it, and your best event was the javelin in that. Let's talk about your progression in that, or what are some cool memories about, right? The track coach come up to you and say, hey, can you do any events here? Is that what it looked like for you?
Yeah, I definitely did not do track in high school or before that, but actually my mom and, her siblings were all pretty good track athletes, so it was in the blood, but for sure that was not something that I committed to. But the track coach was like, hey, do you want to come try some events? And I was like, sure, why not? It'll keep me in great shape. In the off season, it really did. The training that I had for the track program, I'd come back in such great shape and just made me a much better volleyball athlete as well. But at the first year, I ran the 400 hurdles, which was probably one of the hardest races, and that was a tough year, but it definitely made me tougher, made me stronger. But then it was like, why don't we try this hep thing? And so I threw the jab, and that was pretty good. And then, they were like, well, you can jump, you can kind of run, you're not great at any of the events, but you're pretty good at all of them, so let's just put it together and do the hep. And so you do 7 of them, which was great because I actually really, really enjoyed the event because you moved with a group of athletes. And so all the young ladies that were doing the heptathlon from all the other schools, we would all get to know each other, and we would just encourage each other. So it was just a really cool atmosphere to be in, that your competitors were also just cheering you on in each of the events because they're all individual. And so yeah, it's super fun. I really enjoyed it.
Javelin throw. Tell me about that. Would it jack up your shoulder? What did that even look like for you?
But I was a setter, so I didn't need my shoulder other than serving, right? And so some of our hitters were not allowed to throw the jab because we needed to save it for volleyball. But, I was a setter, and so I was strong, and I had a good arm for serving. I actually stood on the back wall to serve when I was, competing. But, I just had some good range and could chuck that thing pretty far.
That's awesome. All right, we got about 3 minutes with Kelly Winter right now. All right, athletics has, brought to you a lot of things in your life. You've been to a lot of places. You mentioned that Europe story, right? You mentioned, going up and down the state, competing in the heptathlon. What are your lasting memories of Fresno Pacific, not only as a player, but now what are your core things you just love about the school?
Well, the school is, a Christian school, and it's not a place that you're required to be a Christian, but it's something that is built into the community. And I think some of the foundational things for me was the upside down kingdom, this idea that we're here to serve, and that has been, I think, what I have, the transformation for me of what I want to do in life is to serve, right? And that's what we're here to do, is And so that for me is like, I'm so grateful to Fresno Pacific for the opportunity to go to that school and to be blessed by all the instructors and the professors and the coaches and the administration and my team, to have the experience that I had there. And, it really definitely shaped who I am today, for sure.
Last question here. So what is a fun, growing up Watney story that you can share? We got 1 minute here. What's a cool story?
Well, I think, golf was always a big thing. And I know every Christmas we would go to Pebble Beach, which is one of my favorite places in the world, is Carmel. Because my brother was a great junior golfer, and so he'd always go to the Tournament of Champions on the day after Christmas. So having Christmas dinner at Taco Bell, because it's the only thing open in the area, was sort of a memory that's pretty fun. But, I love to travel, and I love that athletics has taken me to so many places. And so just looking forward to a lot more travel, a lot more experiences, and just being around athletes and helping them achieve what they're capable of achieving.
Amazing stuff. Kelly, this has been a highlight for me to talk to you, and it's been a fun journey watching your career as well, and great things are happening at Fresno Pacific University. Volleyball team is off to an 8-0 start, and a great conversation with your husband, Ray. We didn't even get to talk about Ray, your husband, and how he is now just teaching full time, right? All that, the family dynamics with that. But hey, thanks for coming on. Really enjoyed talking to you and your story.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks to Jorge Rodriguez for producing the show, and Kelly Winter, FPU Hall of Famer. That's a wrap for this week's episode. Again, you could go back to all the places that you listen to podcasts. I know Kelly does on her way to Reedley College to teach. So listen to the podcast. We got great stories there at Fresno Pacific University. Have a great rest of the week, everybody, and go Birds.
You're listening to the home of the San Jose Shark. KFPT Clovis, 790 ESPN.
All rise for Aaron Judge. He tied a Major League record by reaching 50 home runs for the fourth time, hitting a goal.